Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I know it's been a long time since I've uploaded a video, but I'm so excited to be here and I can't wait to share with you what the Lord has been doing in my life and how you might be able to partner. So make sure you watch the video, stick around to the end to figure out how you might be able to get involved in the amazing things that God is doing in this world. So with that, let's jump right into it. So you may be wondering to yourself, what am I doing now and why am I back on YouTube? It's been such a long time since I've uploaded a video, so what is going on with David? Well, as you can see from that introduction, I'm now with an organization called YWAM Ships Kona, and I'm actually here currently in Papua New Guinea serving the Lord as an engineer. Now this all started back when I was still in college at Calvin University, when I felt the Lord calling me to do missions right after I graduated instead of going into industry. And this was because the Lord wanted me to tithe my education back to Him as a way to thank Him for bringing me through my schooling and for getting me a degree in mechanical engineering. And so as I continued to pray and seek the Lord on this, He eventually led me to work on a medical ship in Papua New Guinea. And so now here's the story of how I got to PNG and what the Lord has been doing in the first month that I've been here. So let's dive into it. I started my 5-day journey from St. Croix, and there I took my first plane all the way to Miami. From Miami, I took a second plane to Charlotte where I overnighted, and then took my third plane all the way to California to the city of Los Angeles. From here, I met my friend Bear, who took me to In-N-Out, and then we spent the rest of our days there exploring the city. After our time exploring, it was time to head back to the airport to catch my 4th and 5th flights to San Francisco and then all the way to Brisbane. Checked it out and did what every tourist would do, and I went to the zoo. And then finally on day 5, I took off and flew to my final destination of Papua New Guinea. I finally landed in Papua New Guinea right just past lunchtime, where the truck picked me up from the YWAM ship and I was on my way to the dockyard. So when I first got on the ship was on dry dock, which means the boat was out of the water, as you can see from the video just there. So this means we were able to do a lot of work to the engine and the hull to make sure the ship would be seaworthy and ready to start missions again. Now the interesting thing was, when I first got to PNG and I first saw the ship, I learned that the ship has actually been a dead ship for 5 years. That means it was just sitting at anchorage for 5 years, not doing anything. It wasn't roaming around PNG, it wasn't sailing, the engines weren't working. And when I got there, everything had been slowly coming together to get the ship to run and to become an alive ship. So as I got on the ship, I was welcomed by our chief steward and got shown my room. As you can see here, it's a pretty small cabin, but it was still pretty spacious, and I was very happy about it. And from there, I started diving straight into the work the next day, working as a mechanical engineer in the engine department. I got to work alongside the chief engineer, the second engineer, the third engineer, and a couple GPs as I started learning the ship and helping fix a lot of the issues in the engine room that we were coming across. Some of these issues included getting our 3 Caterpillar generators back online and getting our 2 main engines back online as well. Additionally, in my first couple days while we were still on dry dock, I had the opportunity to go to church in Papua New Guinea and get to spend some time in fellowship with some locals, and it was absolutely amazing. And while I was at this church, the head priest of Papua New Guinea was stepping down and a new one was stepping up to replace him. And because of this, there was a big celebration where all the provinces of Papua New Guinea sent people from their churches to the main campus here in Port Moresby, the capital of Papua New Guinea. And it was really awesome because every province sang songs from their own language as a way to show gratitude to the new priest. And that was some of the voices that you heard in the background. Now the crazy thing is, Papua New Guinea has over 850 different languages. Now these are completely distinct languages. Like, they're not dialects, they're completely different. And so most people here grow up speaking 4 or 5 languages because they learn their father's mother tongue and their mother's mother tongue, and then they learn Pidgin, which is essentially the language that everybody uses to communicate cross-culturally. And then on top of that, sometimes they learn how to speak English as well. So most people grow up speaking 4 or 5 different languages, which is awesome. And so it was such a privilege to be able to go to church that Sunday and just to hear all the different languages that were being sung as a way to thank the priest for all of his years of service as the priest of the church. Another great experience that I got to have as I started my time in Papua New Guinea was actually moving out of dry dock and bringing the ship back to land. Now for this, I made a couple videos to show you kind of the process of how I went about, how we got from the dockyard back into the water, and I can't wait to show you guys these videos. So it is June 5th in the morning, just past 8 o'clock, and they just shut off power. So as you can see, the whole underside of the hull, like in the hull on the boat, our workshop here, is completely dark. We just lost power because we're getting disconnected from shore, which is super exciting. In just a few moments here, we're going to start leaving the dockyard, getting off dry land and heading back to the water. We'll anchor for a little bit. So the process has started. This is super exciting. We've been waiting for this for a long time. So let's go. Finally moving. This is awesome. Getting to the water, which is great. But we're getting over there. That's where we're going. So you might be thinking, because it's clearly nighttime, we must be out on the water, but check it out. This is where we're at now. This probably looks really familiar, and that's because it's the exact same place where we had the 4 trucks pulled us and we got stuck here in this space. So that is where we used to be, right over there. That's where we used to be. And we wanted to go over there, which is where the water is, but they couldn't do it. And so we got stuck here. So we're gonna be here tonight, which is kind of crazy because we're running on our own generator power and we've got no water for any of our stuff. So we can't flush our toilets, we can't take showers, things like that, because we're not in the ocean yet, and so we can't suck in salt water to do those things. So as a result, we're here. We're doing well though. You know, all happy campers, just had dinner. And so hopefully by tomorrow we're gonna be in the water, which would be great. But for now, we get to spend some more time in this dockyard. So, you know, the Lord has his own plans and we're gonna stick with that. And so we're excited to still be on mission and to hopefully get this boat in tip-top shape before it gets to the water and then continue getting it ready to be sailed. For now, we're gonna be here. I'll catch you back up tomorrow, and hopefully tomorrow you'll see that we'll be in the water. Good morning on day 2. As you can see, the boat's still behind me. We're still not in the water yet, but it's a great day. There's the ship, you can see behind me, just riding on the trolley. So hopefully today they'll get us in the water. A really funny story is when we actually first got on here, it only took 2 trucks to push us into where we were at. Yesterday they had 4 trucks, 2 big ones, 2 like big dump trucks pushing, and 2 big ones pulling us, and they still couldn't get us to move. So it's kind of interesting. Don't really know why that is, but we're just praying that the Lord's timing would work out here and that we know that he's got us in his hands. So we're excited to get in the water, but for now we're gonna be on land for a little longer. So hopefully today. So let's see what the moving looks like. So we've officially started moving again, kind of out of nowhere. So now all they have to do is push us forward, which is that direction. Then we'll get to the water. Finally, we're moving again. This is super exciting. Finally getting to anchor. We spent 1 day in the water over by the docks area, and then that was because we had to figure out our generator problem. We couldn't get our generator to run. But now that we have it running, it's super exciting. We're finally going to tow us out to bring on the boat. So it's certified and ready to sail. So as you can see behind me here, we have our handy dandy tugboat, just tugging us along. That's where we used to be, in the dock area over there. Now we're moving to get anchored. You can also notice that we're actually at a couple of degree angle of tilt. So this is perfectly level. This is kind of what I'm seeing. And this is because the boat is uneven right now because we have weight distribution issues. So once we get anchored, we're gonna move the boat back so it's nice and level. So it's been such a blessing to have the boat back in the water, and it's been amazing to see the ways that God has moved through that, how he's provided for us, how he's helped us fix things. And a few more highlights just from the first month that I've been here is just the amazing power of prayer. Guys, prayer is so important. It's amazing that we have an opportunity to talk one-on-one with the God of the universe, the God who created everything. He knows everything, and he knows us so intimately. And so prayer is such an amazing gift from the Lord that we can come and ask of him and seek him and hear from him. And so an example of this was when we first got into the water, we didn't have any of our generators working. Now we need to have the generators working so that we could move to the anchorage properly. And as you see from the videos, we ended up making it there. But before we got there, we had to get a generator up and running, and we couldn't figure it out. All the engineers were working around one of the Caterpillar generators. We were thinking, this shouldn't be this hard because the Caterpillar generator had just been overhauled, so all of its internal guts had just been replaced with new parts. So we were thinking, you should fire it up straight away, there shouldn't be a problem, but we kept running into roadblocks and we couldn't figure it out. So the next day the director took us down to the engine room and he said, hey, let's pray over this engine. Let's ask the Lord to show us what is wrong with this, to give us wisdom and to help us fix it properly. So we prayed over the engine, we asked the Lord to give us wisdom and to help this generator run. Within 30 minutes, that generator started up out of nowhere. One of the engineers went in to look at the manual again, didn't really have any new ideas, but decided just to go crank it up. He went and he started it, and it, just like that, it came up. And so it's so amazing to see just how powerful prayer is and how good God is at answering our prayers, and knowing that when the Lord calls us to something, he's going to give us everything that we need. And he's called this ship to sail to Madang to help people get the medical aid that they need. Now, Madang is a province in Papua New Guinea, but I'll talk about that in another video. So make sure to like and subscribe so you can hear more about Madang and the outreach that we're going to do. Another fun thing that we did within the first couple months was to start doing drills to get the crew ready and trained for sea trials, so that when we have any issues on board, we're able to function properly. Now, one of the drills that we did was a fire drill, and as you can see from this video, we have people getting in fire gear. We've got the medical team getting ready and testing out their equipment as well. And so it was really fun just to hear the knowledge of the captain that's on board and to experience life on the ship and get to know some of the drills that we need that will help save our lives if we come into any sort of emergency situation. Now, if you're interested, if you're watching this video and you say, David, I want to get involved with what you're doing in Papua New Guinea, I want to support you in what you're doing, I would love for you to do that. Now, there's two ways that you can help support me. The first way is through prayer. And as I mentioned earlier, prayer is so powerful, and I would love for you to join me in prayer. So here are a couple of prayer points that you can pray for. The first one is for the ship. We still have a lot of work to get the ship up and running for sea trials. So just pray that we can get the money and the parts that we need and the people that we need on time. The other thing you can pray for is unity for our ship. As we get closer to the time where we're supposed to sail and start our outreach for the Lord, the enemy is trying to bring in every tactic that he knows of to try to divert or delay what the Lord is doing. So just pray for unity on the ship. Also just pray for myself that I would continue to get closer to the Lord, that I would stay healthy, and then I would be able to encourage the crew well and disciple those who don't have a relationship with the Lord yet. The last way that you can pray for us is for safety on the ship. Since we've left the dockyard and been on anchor, there's been a couple times where we've actually encountered pirates. It's an unfortunate situation, but we do have a few pirates who've been trying to get on our ship and trying to steal some of the things that we have here so that they can sell it for money. But I just ask that you would continue to pray just for safety for the ship, safety for the crew, that we don't encounter pirates anymore, and that if we do, that they won't be able to get on board and harm anyone in any way. And the second way that you can help support me is financially. Now, this is something that I ask you prayerfully consider if the Lord is calling you to partner with me in this way. But if he does, here's a quick way of how you can go about doing that. So the first thing you're going to do is minimize this window, and then in your browser you're going to create a new tab and go to YWAMSt.org. Now, YWAM St. Croix has been gracious enough to collect all of the donations and fundraising that I'm going to do while I'm out here in Papua New Guinea, and that's fantastic because that means that if you donate through them, you'll be able to get a tax break for those who decide to partner with me financially. Now, once you're at their website, you're going to find the tab that says donations, and you're just going to click on that, and that'll take you to a new site. The other way that you can get here is by clicking the link in the description below. Once you're here, you're gonna see two tabs. One is to give online, the other is to mail a check. So the difference between these two buttons is if you're hoping to donate over $500, I ask that you write a check to YWAM St. Croix and just put my name in the memo. That way, once the check is processed, not a lot of fees will be taken out from it. So if you're gonna go online, you can go ahead and click the donate online button. And from there, you're gonna be taken to a PayPal site. From this PayPal site, you can input the amount that the Lord has placed on your heart, and then you can either donate with PayPal or you can donate with a credit or debit card. The one thing to know is once you go through this, just make sure that in the description you put my name for David Conhoff. That way when YWAM St. Croix receives the donation, they know that it's for me and not for the base. Now you may be wondering what the financial goal is that I'm trying to reach. In order to be here in Papua New Guinea for the length of time the Lord has called me to, I need to raise $6,500. Some of you may know that that number used to be a little bit larger, and it's because of the great opportunity to get super cheap flights to come all the way out to Papua New Guinea and to go back home, that this number has come down. And now thanks to the faithfulness of the Lord and to some of your generous donations, I've already been able to fundraise about $5,000 of that goal, which means that I'm 75% of the way to my goal, and I only need about 1,500 left to see me through the rest of my time in PNG. So it's including that number of flights, visas, application fees, and then the room and board to stay and live on the ship while I'm here. And now that you've heard a little bit about what happened in the first month that I've been here, let me paint a picture for kind of what's coming up next. We're going to continue to get the boat ready for sea trials, and if all goes well, we'll pass sea trials, and then we'll take the 7-day journey from Port Moresby, the capital, to Madang, which is the province that the Lord has called us to do ministry in. Alrighty guys, so that's it for me for this first update video, but make sure you stick around because I got a couple more videos in the works, one about what my day looks like on the ship, or what the ship looks like. So make sure you stick around, you subscribe so you can see those videos. Thank you so much for those who are partnering with me with either prayer or financially. I really appreciate it. And so I'll see you guys in the next video. Hope you guys are doing well. Catch you later.